Welcome to Wellspring Wednesday Chapel. Obviously, we're not in the Ames Chapel today. We're at my home honoring the governor's orders for staying at home as we can, where we can. And so this is an experiment this week, holding chapel here. And I welcome you, and I'm glad you're here. If you have a chalice with you, you might want to prepare it, and we'll light it in a minute. But first, I just want to say that today is also April 1st, and happy April Fool's Day. I don't have a trick planned for you today, but we are shifting our monthly worship theme, and this month it has moved on to the theme of integrity. And so today's chapel service will be about integrity. And integrity is a word that we think of as meaning wholeness, as something that is sound, as something that is functional and able to serve its purpose. Sometimes we use the word when we're talking about people. We say a person has integrity if they're living divided no more, if our inner values have expression in the outer world. And so as we look at this word integrity, I chose a particular chalice to light for you today. And I have a short story to tell you about this chalice. This is a chalice that my sister gave me when I was ordained. She had it made by her friend, whom we lovingly call Peter the Potter. And it's a beautiful chalice. And a few weeks ago, when the church building closed at the beginning of this time of COVID-19, I was hosting a Zoom meeting here in front of the fireplace with my chalice circle facilitators. And I had the chalice set next to me so that I could light it when our meeting began. But one of our facilitators was having trouble with the technology. And so I had my cell phone on to try to help them connect. And when I put the phone on speakerphone, I got audio feedback, which caused me to just go, wah! And as I did, I hit the chalice. The chalice went against the fireplace and smashed into a dozen pieces. I thought the chalice was done serving its time as a chalice. But as I later swept up the pieces, I discovered that I had enough to glue together. And as you look inside here, you can see it's got a lot of cracks and even one piece that I was not able to find and to fix. And what I realized is that if this chalice had been one that was used for wine, it would no longer have integrity in serving that purpose. You would have a hard time drinking wine out of this now. But this is a Unitarian Universalist chalice, and it is for holding and sharing light. And so I glued it back together, realizing that it still can hold and share light. And in fact, this little spot that's open actually shares a little extra light. Or as Leonard Cohen says about cracks, it's where the light gets in. And it's also where the light gets out. So it still has integrity as a chalice for us to light. So if you're lighting a chalice at home, I invite you to light your chalice and share our usual words, which are to say this. I light this chalice as a symbol of our faith, of the light of truth, and the warmth of love. Welcome. Glad you're here. So our first song today is also about light and flame, and I'm going to be joined by my husband, David, who is also sheltering at home with me. And come on in, David. Conveniently, he's the only person in the world that I can get this close to at this moment of time of social distancing, and so we thought we would sing together for you, and I hope you'll sing along. The song is Rise Up, O Flame. I know many of you from Unity know it, and so I hope you'll sing along. We'll sing it through once as a whole, and then we'll do it as a round for 2 more verses, and when we break into a round, feel free to sing with me or with David, and then we'll wrap it up after those times. So rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame,
Rise
by
up,
thy
O
light
flame,
flowing,
by
show
thy
to
light
us
glowing,
beauty,
show
vision,
to
and
us
joy.
beauty,
Rise
vision,
up, O
and joy.
flame, by
Rise
thy
up,
light
O
flowing,
flame,
show
by
to
thy light
us
glowing,
beauty,
show
vision,
to
and
us
joy.
beauty,
Vision
vision,
and
and
joy. Thanks, David. And I'm going to put this back up on the mantle so I don't bump into it and smash it again. I'm not sure how it would fare with a second breakage, but there it is. Many of you know that at this time in chapel, we share our joys and concerns. And this is the scale we usually use at church. I've brought it home for this. And what we do is we invite you all, whether you're home alone or watching with somebody, to share your joys and concerns with each other. I'll say a joy and a concern, and as I do, I place a yellow stone on for a joy and a blue stone on for a sorrow. And the reason we do this is we know that community is meant to hold both our joys and our sorrows. And by speaking them out loud with one another, or if you're home, just speaking them out loud with yourself makes a difference, because it reminds us that they are not meant to be carried alone. But the joys are meant to be celebrated widely, and the sorrows are meant to be shared as we lift the burden from one another. So I will name a joy and a sorrow, and then we'll hold silence for just a short time for you to do the same at home. If you have a large group of people, feel free to put it on pause so you have enough time for everybody to talk. And then take it on off pause, and we'll continue. So today I have a sorrow that many people are now losing their jobs because of the virus and the way it's restricting our economy. And it's a great sorrow to know that the economic hardship is just beginning. And so I name that as a very real sorrow. And the joy I want to share is the joy of still being able to come together like this, online and by phone, and across that 6-foot distance outside, and the many ways we are finding to still be in community with one another. I invite you now to share your joys and concerns. I add one more sorrow for all those not named, carried in our hearts, and one more joy for the joy that is carried in our hearts and the joy that is yet to be born of this moment. So I want to share a story with you today. It's a story about integrity. It's about the integrity of missing a piece of ourselves. It's a book by Shel Silverstein, and it's called The Missing Piece. I'm sure many of you know it. And it begins like this. It was missing a piece, and it was not happy about that. And so it rolled along slowly, slowly, looking for its missing piece. And it sang as it went, "Oh, I'm looking for my missing piece. Heidi-ho, here I go. I'm looking for my missing piece." And as it traveled, it stopped to smell the flower, to talk to worm, to spend some time with beetle and butterfly, Oh, I'm looking for my missing piece, missing piece, missing piece. I'm looking for my missing piece. It had to go slowly because every time it came into this space, it slowed down. But then, at a certain point, it saw a missing piece. And it looked and it said, "You must be my missing piece." The missing piece took offense. "I'm not your missing piece. I'm my own piece. Don't be thinking I'm your piece." "I'm sorry. Sorry to bother you." And so it went on. "Oh, I'm looking for my missing piece, missing piece, missing piece. I'm looking for my missing piece." And it found another piece. Oh, yes, it fit inside, but it was too small. And it fell out. The next piece turned out to be too large. It didn't even fit inside. And the piece after that, it was so sharp it poked right out the other side. It kept going, looking for its missing piece. At one point, it found a piece, and it held on so tightly, it crushed it. Then it found another piece, and it held it so loosely, it fell out and tumbled away. And as it went, eventually, it came upon a piece that appeared to be just right. "Well, I suppose you're your own missing piece. Is that true?" "No, I could be your missing piece." "Really?" They tried it, and they discovered they had a really good fit. It was delighted. It was so happy to discover that now it could travel as fast as it wanted to. In fact, it was very hard to stop. It was going so fast. There was no time to stop and smell the flowers and talk to worm or even to hang out with beetle and butterfly. Plus, as it began to sing, it discovered that without a space for the song to come out, it didn't sound at all the same. Oh, so this is the way it's going to be. Well, it decided, sadly, it was time to say goodbye to the piece. And they greeted each other and thanked each other. And it went on, rolling slowly again, stopping to talk to worm, stopping to smell the flowers, hanging out with beetle and butterfly, and singing its song. "Oh, I'm looking for my missing piece, Heidi-ho, here I go. I'm looking for my missing piece." So we know from this story and from life that wholeness is not usually something we experience just by ourselves. Each of us has our own missing pieces, our own places of brokenness. And let's face it, we live in a broken world. Right now, it feels especially so. What wholeness means is engaging those places where we might be missing a piece of something as an opportunity for relationship. Relationship with one another, with the wider world, also broken as it is, and with life itself. And just as our broken chalice has that space that lets the light in and lets the light out, our own missing pieces, when they have integrity, let the light in and let the light out. So, no surprise, our last song is going to be "This Little Light of Mine." And I suspect just about everyone out there knows it. So I hope you will sing along. David's going to come back with his guitar, and We're going to sing this through 4 times. The second verse will have words you probably haven't heard before because David and I made them up. Instead of saying everywhere I go or all around the world, we're going to say even here at home in the spirit of this time. And I'll shout those words out when we start. But here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And even here at home, even here at home, I'm gonna let it shine. Even here at home, I'm gonna let it shine. Even here at home, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. Hide it under a bushel, no. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Go back to the beginning. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thanks, David. So we've come to the end of the chapel service, and we're going to extinguish our chalice. If you have one lit, I invite you to extinguish it too, and to share these words as we do. Though we extinguish the light of the chalice here, we know that the light of truth and the warmth of love we carry with us in our hearts. Take good care.